Okay, now let's take a look at the requirements for Micro Project 2. So you do want to complete Micro 1 first. You want to do your research, come up with your concept, come up with some ideas of what you might have on your menu. So for Micro Project 2, you're going to create some sketches. So based on your research, based on your concept, you're going to do some thumbnail sketches of food illustrations. There's another Pinterest board, so I'm now in Micro Project 2, looking at the instructions. And the Pinterest board here, if I click on that link, there's a lot of examples of food illustrations, different styles. You can get ideas for color schemes, styles that look more realistic. This looks pretty realistic. Obviously, the illustrator was referring to actual images of food. So, I really want you to do that. I want you to look at not only these illustrations, but go out on the web, Google Images, whatever. If you're going to be creating an illustration of, say, hamburger, then go on Google Images and look up images of hamburgers and get a sense of how you would go about depicting that. I really don't want you just doing these off the top of your head. I want you to be using references. I want you to be getting ideas. If you're going to go in a direction like this, where they're more like icons, like highly stylized, where they're more, abstract, simplified, rather than trying to make realistic looking food, that's an okay direction as well. But if you notice on something like this, this looks like a unified set. All of the illustrations have the same kind of stroke weight. There's a kind of a pastel color scheme. There's just a certain graphic style that's being used consistently throughout all of the illustrations, so they look like they all come from the same place, and that's really important. You want these to look, you want variety. Each one of these looks different and interesting on its own as a unique individual graphic, but when you see them together as a set, they do look like they're all part of the same, from the same family. They come from the same place. So that's something you want to keep in mind. Okay, so there are lots of resources here you can scroll through and get some ideas of how professional illustrators have handled these types of, this sort of a project. All right, and then let's go back and take a look at some student examples. Again, these are students from previous classes. I'm showing you kind of the best that I have. So these are really well done. These are some students that have some drawing ability, and I can tell that they looked at images, they used references. They're not just drawing this stuff, just making it up, because it's just not going to look as good if you're just making it up. But at the same time, if you don't have confidence in your drawing ability, you just do the best that you can. Okay, I don't expect necessarily that your thumbnail drawings are going to be at this level, although that would be nice. But if they're not, the main thing is that, so like this one that I'm showing you, the main thing is that I get a clear sense of what you're thinking about doing, that I can tell that you've looked at real things. I can tell from here maybe that this student really went and looked to see what a corkscrew looks like, maybe what a wine glass looks like. Here's some others that I can tell that this student went and took, probably did a Google image search for, coffee cups or whatever, and looked at that stuff for reference. Okay, so the requirements are that you come up with 6 to 10 drawings minimum. That does not mean that you're going to be creating digital artwork out of for each one of your drawings. Ultimately, you're going to be using these drawings as a basis for digital artwork, for creating your digital artwork in Illustrator. But the minimum for project 1, you want to have at least 3. For example, this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 food items represented here. Maybe the student, for the final digital versions, narrows it down to 3, 4, 5 of the best ones. I mean, I'd rather have you do fewer, better illustrations for your final, for project 1, than to do like 10 illustrations that aren't really that well figured out. All right, so I am not going to take the time to go over every, where are we here? Every requirement. That's up to you. But I did just want to get emphasize a few points that that might not be emphasized so much in the requirements. And one thing that I do want to emphasize about these is I do not want you to do any cartoon type characters. These aren't cartoons. I don't want food with arms and legs. I want you to create illustrations that are visually appealing, that are appetizing, that are going to communicate, complement a food description on a menu, that are going to give the menu some personality, some color, some clarity. And I want you to look at, again, professional illustrations as on that Pinterest board to get ideas, and also at real food items. I would like you to reference images of real food items. Okay, so I can't stress that enough. No cartoon characters, no faces, no arms, legs, nothing like that. Appetizing food illustrations is what I'm looking for.